It is 113 days till the man burns, and today we are talking about choosing your campmates, a luxury that not all of you will get probably. But the thing is, if you have ever been on a long trip with friends or family or just people in general, you probably know it can go kind of one or two ways. Either you're going to have a great time and you're going to get on like a house on fire and it will bring you closer together, or you'll discover that you really annoy each other and kind of it pushes you further apart. And Burning Man is really not the place where you want the second scenario to happen. So you might think that it's not that important, you're not going to be spending that much time at camp anyway, so who cares if you have someone there that you kind of don't really gel with very well, or if there's camp drama or something, you're not going to be there too much. But you'll be surprised how much time you end up hanging out at camp, or how annoying it can be even if you don't spend that much time at camp. Your camp is your home base. You want to be able to go there and hang out and feel comfortable and be amongst friends. Not be trying to avoid it because there's that one person there that's just driving you crazy and ruining your burn. So one of the most important things is expectation. What are your camp's expectations? What does everybody want? Do you want to be part of a camp where you're cooking full meals, you have, rotas and everything's organized and everyone's taking part and everything's very scheduled and organized? Or, maybe not scheduled and organized, but things are running in a kind of effective way? Or would you rather be in a camp where just everyone does their own thing, you all just eat food that doesn't need cooking when you need to, and nothing is really that structured? And it doesn't just apply to camp life. It can also be the expectation. If you have a group of people and they're like, we just want to party all night and get drunk and sleep all day, and you're like, well, I kind of want to do stuff in the day as well. That's when things are happening, and maybe not spend so much time partying and getting really, really drunk. Maybe that's not going to be a good match. That's maybe not the best camp for you to be in. So it's an important thing to discuss when you are organising your camp, or if you have newcomers that want to come and join your camp. You want to make sure that all of your expectations kind of line up with each other. Like I said in one of my other videos, I'm more of an eat beans out of a can kind of person. My partner likes to do the whole cooking thing and have quite an organised camp. So you just need to find that middle ground and be like, okay, I'll eat that amazing food you just made and I will wash everything up, as a thank you. But the compromising part is important, because if you do have certain camp members that are doing a lot of things to keep the camp running, they're cooking, they're cleaning, they're doing the ice runs, and then you have camp members that aren't participating in that at all, it can lead to camp tensions. And camp tensions are never good. You'll also want a camp full of very similar personalities. If you have a camp full of very laid back people and then you bring along one super high maintenance person, it will probably cause tensions because the high maintenance person is going to be high maintenance and complain a lot, and the laid back people are going to be frustrated by it. If you're a group of very kind of chilled out people and you bring along a frat boy type, then it's probably going to be frustrating because the personalities in the camp, they're just not going to gel that well. And you're going to have one person that wants to have a completely different burn to the rest of the group. And their behaviour will probably end up getting annoying. And again, lead to camp tension. Bringing along outsiders to the core group can be great and it can be terrible. Especially if the core group of your camp are all very good friends and have been for a while, then bringing along someone that is outside of that and doesn't really know the rest of the group, it can be a little bit difficult for them to integrate, because chances are the core group are going to spend a lot of time reminiscing and hanging out and wanting to go and do things together, and it can leave that outsider feeling outside. So if someone is joining your group and, maybe it's your friend's new girlfriend or something, then try and meet them beforehand, try and have kind of a camp meetup so that you can get to know them a bit and see kind of what kind of person they are and whether you think they would really fit in the camp. And they just get a chance to meet everyone and get to know everyone, so they're not kind of coming into Burning Man completely blind with no idea who you all are and what kind of camp it's going to be. It's also a good idea to really include them in all the planning and the prep work so they kind of feel like part of the team as well. And talking about partners coming along, I have done a video and a blog post, like a relationship survival guide. So, check that out if you are bringing your partner along. Beware of anyone that you feel like might not be a good fit for Burning Man. High maintenance people are generally not a good fit. Or people that are very closed-minded towards the culture. They see it more as a music festival and they're like, all that culture stuff, all that survival guide, first time is prep, it's not interesting. I'm just going to go and get drunk and party. Because if you end up with one of those people in your camp, they are probably going to drive you crazy. Some people are just not designed for Burning Man. They are not going to have a good time. They're not going to get it. And they are just going to complain and let you know about it all the time, and it is just going to ruin your burn. Or you're just going to hide out in other people's camps to stay away from it. If you do have a high maintenance person that wants to come along, have a sit down with them and really explain what it's like, what kind of amenities and things are going to be available to them, and whether or not they're really going to be able to handle it. And maybe once they get that reality check, they'll decide that actually, no, it's not for them. With party boys or people that just don't get the culture or aren't interested in trying to get the culture, I kind of think of it like, when you would go on a school trip as a kid and the teacher would be like, now be on your best behavior because you're representing the whole school. When you bring someone that is not a good fit for Burning Man to Burning Man, if they're doing stuff that annoys your neighbors or, they're just being a general nuisance, you kind of feel like they're representing your camp, that everyone's looking at your camp being like, these people ruining it for everyone, instead of them looking at it and being like, that poor camp, they've got that one bad egg that's really just ruining everyone's burn. Another thing you want to watch out for is becoming a babysitter or someone requiring a babysitter. No one wants to be a babysitter at Burning Man. No one wants to be stuck back in camp because, one of their campmates is just not dealing with things and they need someone to be with them all of the time. So again, it comes down to personalities. Are the people coming in your camp, do you see any potential for that happening? Do you see maybe one member of the group where you're like, yeah, I can see that person having an extended meltdown, where we're going to have to really, really look after them for the entirety of Burning Man. And many people do have meltdowns, but for most people they are very short. They are, half an hour. They just need some water and a nap and some food and they're fine. I'm talking about the people that do not recover from the meltdown. Sometimes a situation will arise where there's mixed feelings in camp. Maybe half of the camp, they don't want someone to be in the camp, or you're already at Burning Man and half of the people are like, that person needs to go. But the other half of the camp are like, no, they're fine, we want them to stay. So, it can be a really tough situation. No one wants to say to another person, you can't camp with us because I don't think that you're a good fit, or we want you to leave camp because we can't stand being around you anymore. And if it's got to the point where half of the camp is saying they need to leave, they're not even let's try and resolve this. They're just no, they've got to get out. It's really best for that person to go and camp somewhere else if they can, or to maybe split the camp so that you're camping in two separate areas. I know it sucks, but if you're midway through the week and things are just going to hell, it's better to split so that everyone can enjoy their week instead of there being this constant tension bubbling under the surface. But obviously it's better if you can deal with that before you even get there by just, making sure that person isn't in your camp or splitting into two camps beforehand. I'm not saying that you shouldn't bring these people or you should cut people from your camp based on this, but a lot of the time all it needs is a discussion. If you feel like someone that is coming or wants to come has the potential to be needing a babysitter because they might not cope very well at Burning Man, then discuss that with them and just let them know the reality of the situation. If that happens, no one is going to babysit you. No one is going to spend their week at Burning Man sitting in camp because you're feeling bad. And if they're high maintenance, tell them what Burning Man's really like. And if they still want to come, explain to them, we are not going to listen to you complain 24/7 because you can't straighten your hair or have a shower or get a pedicure. No one wants to listen to it for a week. So if you're going to come, that's great. But the complaining needs to be kept to a minimum. A lot of the time things can be resolved just by communicating with people beforehand or letting people know when you're there that they're doing something that's problematic. If they are high maintenance, you told them not to complain, they're complaining constantly, let them know that. Let them know, I told you beforehand we didn't want to listen to you complain and you are complaining all the time, shut up. Ultimately, it feels really harsh to have to say to people no, you can't camp with us, we don't feel like you'd really be a good fit for our camp. Because, Burning Man is about radical inclusion, but at the same time, it is about having a good time yourself. But if you've ever witnessed, camp drama, camps with tension in them, you'll understand that sometimes that decision does just have to be made. Like, maybe that frat boy coming along with your group of super laid back friends is just not going to work very well. It's going to ruin the week for everyone. And wouldn't you rather have that one awkward conversation and be like, sorry, no, than spend the entirety of your Burning Man dealing with the results of that? The thing is, for some people, they find out that someone they know in some kind of way is going to Burning Man, and they're like, hey, I've always wanted to do that, so I'll see if I can tag along with those guys. But this isn't like a night out or a concert or a football game or something. It's Burning Man. And there's many other options. They could join a theme camp. They could find other camps. They could arrange to go with a more suitable group of friends if they're not really suitable for your group. They could go alone. They're just choosing the path of least resistance. They're going so I can tag along with them. They're not thinking about whether or not they'd actually be a good fit in your camp, whether it would be fun to go with your camp or more fun to go with other people or to join theme camps and things. So anyway, I hope you all have an amazing time. I hope you have harmony in your camp, there's no tensions and no dramas, and that you just all have a great time. And if any of the rest of you have any tips or suggestions for choosing your campmates and making sure that it's all harmonious, then let us know in the comment section below. And as always, if you see me at Burning Man this year, feel free to come and say hi to me. Bye guys.